Artemis here from Saunas and Spas, and today we're going to show you how to assemble spruce 1.8 meter long barrel sauna, and this one is going to be with the firewood heater. So you can see that the platform and the space is selected. So this is a nice little bit of an area. It's 2 by 2. But as you can see, we move the platform and the support bricks forward so that our sauna, when assembled, comes flush with these pavers, with this area. So the door is going to be here, but the door will be opening above the pavers, and it will be quite nice and comfy to step in from the pavers into the sauna space. So first things first, you clear the space, make sure it's nice and flat, get your support pavers or bricks in a position so that your crates are positioned properly. Normally you would get about 200 mil off the edge of the sauna for the position of the crate, but in this case we decided to go with pre-drilling. We already pre-drilled the hole and we'll put a little bit closer. So here we have 150 mil to the edge, and the same will be on this side, 150 mil to the edge of the sauna. That's where the pre-drilled position of the crate will be. The next steps will be is to make sure that the diagonals of our crates are equal, and that is very important to make sure we don't have a twisted sauna when we do it. Let's get into it. So what is important, guys, is that this opening in the bottom stave is positioned at the back where the heater is going to be, because this is to ensure the airflow inside the sauna is from underneath the heater. So that's quite important, so that this opening is on the back wall of the sauna. So we measured diagonals, but then we secured the bottom stave. We need to make sure that this stave is right in the middle. So if you don't have a pre-drilled holes, then we need to measure that the stave is right in the middle. Once it's secured with the screws on each side, then we need to double check again to measure the diagonals and measure the distances from one end to another end, from the corner to the corner, and adjust it as required. Once that's done, then we go ahead with the staves, and it's as simple as stacking them next to each other as close as possible, like so, and just going up. With these fiber crates, we only secure it in 3 spots. So there's a pre-drilled openings here and here. So once we get to that, we'll secure it there. Let's do that. So at this stage we put just enough staves to get to the point where we had the pre-drilled opening so that we can secure it, right? So we'll put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 staves on each side from that first one. We'll squeeze them, double check crates again, double check that the crate is still straight, and then we'll double drill it. Just make sure we have a thin drill bit. Pre-drill it one more time and put the screw in to secure this bottom section. After that, we'll start putting the walls together. So each sauna comes with 2 walls. There's a front wall and there's a back wall, like barrel saunas, whether they're square or round barrel ones. the way to tell that this is a firewood heated option is we pre-cut the opening in the back wall for the firewood heater. So after we finished with the bottom assembly, the very bottom of the staves assembly, we move to assembling the walls. Each wall will be made of 3 pieces and they are pre-assembled in the factory. So when you get your kit, it will be 3 pieces. One the middle section and there will be 2 side pieces. Now please pay attention to the pre-drilled holes for the screws. So because there is four sections like this, 2 of them will be for the front wall and 2 of them will be for the back wall. So there's only one section that will fit the particular spot. So you see that this is the concave in, and that's the one that will go on this side. And we check that the pre-drilled holes and they will align with the holes in the connection pieces. We'll put it over like so, and they align perfectly. So it's quite easy. Now we need to make sure it sits nice and tight before we drill it back in. And we'll put the same on the other side. And it aligns nicely. We'll fit it in. So with the door panel, it's important to keep in mind which way your door is going to be opening. We have some models that come with the glass door frame separately, which you can just flip around and have a different opening. With this one, it's a slightly different model, and this is a new design decision to make it a quicker and faster assembly. So it has advantages as a quicker and faster assembly, but disadvantage that it's not as flexible in terms of the door opening. So because we need a different door opening to the way it's built, we're going to flip the entire wall and install it the way we want. But in the future, we're going to add another airflow opening hole at the top. So we're going to drill another hole here and add additional flow out from the sauna on the top of the side of the sauna. This is up to you. Sometimes it's not necessary. Sometimes if it's 1 or 2 person sauna, you will have plenty of air anyway. But if you're going to have 4 or 5 people, sometimes depending again on the situation, you may want to have more breathing airflow in the sauna. And in that way, having that a little bit of a flexibility, how many holes you have and where, and being able to shut and close them as required is certainly an advantage. So in this case, we're going to assemble it the way we want the door to open, and we'll later add a hole there. So keep that in mind, guys. So now we put both walls in position, and at this stage they're not be perfectly horizontal, so we'll need to get the level out and adjust how they sit. To secure them in place temporarily, we put one stave just temporarily over the top, and the next step to be is to secure the handle. It has a magnetic catch, so we don't want the air the wind gust to open the door and possibly break it, we just secure it in a position with the magnet holding the door while we adjust the levels in both of the walls. The handle is in place now, with walls positioned. Check the level, we're happy with the level, and now the next step is to proceed with the staves. So we'll start putting the staves. The first one will be just squeezed in between the crate and the wall, but from the next one onwards we'll have to secure them temporarily with the screws. So we're just gonna try to put them as tight as possible and secure them to the wall with the screws temporarily. Temporarily secured the side staves with screws. You can see they're not in all the way. Up from this point, we can just put the staves on, and they should be able to stay in the position until we put the straps over. With this one, it could be a bit trickier because we also need to align the ceiling section, which has an opening for the flue to come through, with where the firewood heater position will be. So we'll have to work around a little bit, but at this stage we just start to put staves by themselves without screws, like so. So we temporarily put staves on the sides up to about the door corner, and that's just to allow us to put the ceiling section, which is pre-assembled and has the flue opening in it. And once we put that, then we'll see where and how it's gonna fit. So this is the ceiling section with the opening for the flue, and it is important that basically three parts come together: the flue from the heater where the heater is positioned, this opening for the flue, and the roof section. So when we put it over the top, we just leave it loose, and we'll need to bring the panels where the heater is going to sit and put the heater in and put everything in position and see how it all fits together. So we put the ceiling section in, and you can see it's sort of all a little bit loose at the moment. We'll put one stave on this side, we still need to put another stave on this side, but at the moment it's all loose so that we can fit the flue and make sure it's all fit together. So we have three floorboards, 1, 2 and 3, and that's what we're gonna do next. We're gonna put the floorboards in. We'll left a little bit of a gap at the back. That's to improve the airflow. That's where the air opening is. And at this next step is to check the level of these floorboards, and we can even secure them to the floor. floorboards are in. The next thing, to fit the heater, we have to take this front panel off. We just put it there, so the next step is to put the flue in and see how the flue is aligning with the heater and the ceiling boards. So we'll push the flue through the ceiling, and the flue just went straight onto the middle section. And the middle section is sitting in the position of the heater. So you can see that it's fairly straight. We're just gonna move the board and the heater around a little bit just to make sure it's all aligned. Once you found the position for the heater and the flue, and we're sort of happy how straight it is in relation to the ceiling panel, in relation to the back wall, in relation to the floorboards, and this is sort of the preliminary positioning, we can mark the foot of the heater on the boards, because the boards are already secured. So you can mark the feet of the heater with just a pencil, and we know that whatever movement we do, we can always come back to where we think it should be. So now we're feeding the final board, and you can see it could be a bit tricky as we get it in the position. It doesn't go in unless we lift this neighbor panel, the ceiling boards up a little bit. We lift them and it all comes back together nice and tight. And all boards are in the position, so at this stage we can put the straps on and secure it just slightly, and take all the screws out before we secure it and tighten it further. So now everything is in the position and it's time to put the straps on. We could have went with the temporary straps, but there's no need because everything is fairly aligned and it's all good. So the next step is just to put the strap. We found that we're gonna put it the join on the other side. So we'll just go over the top. So this is how we fit the strap. So this is a temporary fit. Well, temporary. We fit it and we start tightening it. And as we tighten it, what we need to make sure is that the distance from the edge of the sauna to the strap is the same all the way around. So we're gonna do that. And I guess we'll do it at the same time to both of the straps. We're just gonna put the second strap at the back and do the same to both of them. Hi guys, this is day 2 and we had to stop yesterday for applying the linseed oil and having a little bit of a break, but today you can see we have applied the linseed oil, but from the assembly point of view everything is where we left off. So next step is we're going to be tightening the straps, and as we tighten the straps we'll remove all of the screws from the staves and just monitor how it all seals up. So normally make it about 300 to 50 mil distance from the edge of the sauna to the strap. So here we have this convenient angle that will give us 210 mil. We'll just make it to that 210 mil all around it. As we tighten it, as we make the straps tighter, we removed all the screws, and now it's time to actually use the mallet and just tap each of the staves around, making sure it all comes into position nice and tight to each other. So that's what we're gonna do. So the mallet is here, and the way we do it is just and we'll do the same on the other side. Now we tighten straps and the whole assembly is nice and tight. And you can see as we tightened and tapped the staves, all gaps have closed off. So there's only small ones, probably less than a millimeter gaps around, and only very few of them. So none at the bottom I can see, and only 1 or 2 millimeter gaps at the top, which is perfect, which is a very good result. Now the next step is our heater is in the position where it should be, and all we need to do now is to protect the wall behind it from the heater, from the heat, with the panels supplied. So each kit will come with some panels, so there will be a set of 4 or 5 depending on the heater you choose and the sauna you choose. And these panels come to the back and to the front of the sauna. So it's on one side of the wall and on the other side of the wall. So let's get into it and we'll show you how it all comes together. So to put the panels onto the wall, we had to pull the heater in so that we could put the bottom plate under the extrusion onto the wall. Now both pieces sitting how they should be secured. So we're just holding it with the hand, but the next step is we just secure it with the screws, and then we'll push the heater back out into the position. So let's do that. Now we secured both panels, and we'll put the heater back in the position where it should be. So this is it. This is it for the heater securement in the inside. And now we're gonna do exactly the same at the back. So we've got our panels. One will be going over the top. There's another one will be at the bottom. This is where it is secure. There's probably a few more turns to do, but it is secured. The door is installed. We also put the ashtray in. So you notice that this extrusion is fairly long. We're working on making it shorter, and it will be shorter in the future models. This model, if you get the same model with this long extrusion, it needed to be this way so we can put the panels on that side of the heater, and so that this heater will fit different sauna models. So there are sauna models where the heater needs to stay a bit further off the wall, and therefore this extrusion needed to be this long. Now to fire it up, you fire it up in the extrusion section here, and once it's a little bit established on the smaller pieces of the wood, you push them through onto the grill. This grill is all the way at the back. Like so. The grill is in the position. Push it all the way to the back, and then add firewood to the back. And now it's the time to put the benches in. So the benches are done and the heater is secured. So now it's only the fun stuff, only small accessories. We can put the thermometer, we can put the sand clock. So the next step is to put the skirting boards around the profile. You get those if you also order bitumen shingles. So to cover the edge layer of the bitumen shingles and this front profile of the sauna, we have the skirting boards, and this set comes with 5 for each side, so there will be 5 of them, 5 for each side. And to make it easier, we start from the top, and we orient them so that it's visually, so when you look at it, it's sort of straight in the middle. So if we drop it to where the holes are and make sure that it's sort of sitting in the middle, and the reference point is the door. The door is sitting right in the middle, so then the first skirting board should be relatively in the middle to the door, and then there will be 2 more skirting boards to each side. So where those skirting boards will finish on the side, that's where we're gonna put the rainwater break planks. that will go under the shingles. So these are the planks that will go under the shingles, and they will allow us to break the rainwater off the surface of the sauna, like that. So let's get into it. So now that we've done one side of the planks, the biggest trick is to actually align them with the same planks on the back. And to do that and make it a little bit easier, we actually start with the planks that will be placed on the side to allow us for separation of the shingles with the surface of the sauna. That's the rainwater separation or breaking point. So we'll put them on the side, following the line. And then on the other side, we'll start with the planks from where we have the planks on the side. So let me show you how we do it. Let's put them like so. We'll need to pre-drill it and screw it on. So these planks, when they're put now, will set us a starting point for the skirting boards at the back. Now we'll just start from here and go upwards. And now it's time for bitumen shingles. So we've got the skirting boards on, we've put our rainwater breaking point planks on, they're secured. Now we will be applying our shingles. The shingles are installed from down up, and the first one will need these pieces cut off. So we'll have to cut off these pieces so the first planks at the bottom are flat, and that's how we start. Now the shingles come with a self-adhesive, so when we install them, we'll peel this film off, and it may not stick immediately. It needs a little bit of heating treatment, so you could use a heat gun to heat it up and then it will stick, or you could also leave it on a sunny hot warm day outside and it will stick over a couple of days. Now if you're doing that without the hot heat gun like we're going to do today, we will need to secure it with a few nails. So to cut them off, I use a little bit of a pen and a ruler or level just to mark how we're going to cut it off. And then I use scissors, but yeah, before you guys could have a better knife and cut it with a knife. But these scissors do a good job. Like so. And this is how we apply the first sheet. With a few nails. I'll put 4 just to make sure. Once it gets a bit warmer, the adhesive underneath will actually activate and will stick it to the plank. So the next piece will be connecting to the first sheet, and we cut off the trapezes underneath the pieces, and now we need to cut how it's going to be overlapping. So one option is to do a joint into joint, so you mark it right on the edge. But we decided we're going to overlap it a little bit, and we cut it off a little bit further. So that's we just mark it like so. So with the next sheet, we can start from the opposite end now and bring it down to the bottom edge again and overlap the first one. And the reason for starting from this end for 1.8 meter sauna is that we will be covering our joint every time we go up. So we'll put a full sheet here, and then we'll have a joint here, but when we start from the opposite side and the other side, we'll cover that joint. So when you come to this point, you have a fairly good idea on how it all comes together. So you're basically going in a zigzag fashion, and whether you decide to cut or not, you can overlap a little bit, and the next one up comes and overlapping the other side. So this one, we finished off this one here. Now the next one is coming here. Again, we're maintaining 10-15 mil of this edge, 10-15 mil of this edge, and we're covering this joint nicely. So that's the next one to go. Then the next one will need to be cut, and so forth. And this is how you progress all the way to the top, and then you progress exactly the same manner from the opposite side and do everything exactly the same from the opposite side up. Then you have about 10-15 centimeters gap uncovered on the top, for which you will need to cut the rectangular piece like so and apply it over the top, joining both sides. In this case, it is recommended just to put a little bit of silicone on the surface of the sauna roof or on the shingle sheet, and you just apply it and press it and hold it for a little bit, something sticky enough that can hold it there, or you apply some press, and that's how the last sheet is put in place. That's how we do it. As you come up, guys, you come closer and closer to the flue. As you get to the flue, you can keep maintaining this gap and keep overlapping them. And as you come closer to the flue, you will need to make a couple of cutouts. So you basically cut out a shingle piece on one side. We'll do the same on the other side. And then we'll put one rectangular over the top and put it on the silicone. After that, we'll get the seal, the flue chimney seal, rubber seal, which will come over the top of the flue and down on the top of the shingles. So we'll put another 2 layers, and now we've pre-cut this rectangular section for this side of the flue. So we will be applying a silicone adhesive on this side and another bead on this side, and then we just put this rectangular sheet over and just put something heavy just for a little while so that it actually sticks, and that's it. And this should create a good weatherproof seal. And the same thing we're going to be doing on this side. And when you guys finished with tiles, and all tiles are completed, to seal the flue, you should be able to find a seal in your kit, and it will look like so. And if needed, you cut out required slides, like these slides. You just cut them out to adjust to the right size of the flue. Slip it over, and you can glue it onto silicone or use some weather screws. It's up to you what you use, as long as it sort of sits tight, and that will protect the interior from the rainwater and the smoke if there's a draft of smoke coming down.